It's 5:30. Okay, it is time to start. So just have a block within reach, but you don't need it for the start right now. And then you can lay back onto your back. You'd like to start in a constructive rest with the legs bent, knees resting towards each other, taking the pressure off the back or any other place that you would like to start. But give yourself a moment to completely come away from the external world and just let yourself fully arrive on your mat and in this moment, feeling this breath. Noticing the places in your body that you may feel a little tight or tense or injured, as well as the places that are feeling good, kind of free and open. Acknowledge whatever thoughts are still hovering in your mind, and perhaps identify which emotion is feeling strongest in your heart. And then let your awareness return to your breath, just watching for a few cycles, noticing the rhythm and the flow, and then gently moving into a three-part breath, taking the time to inhale deeply enough that you expand your belly and your side ribs, and eventually the upper chest. Maybe pausing there if you like, and then releasing it all nice and slow and complete, and then begin again. After this exhale, allow your breath to return to whatever feels more natural. And let's let the legs bend. And then let's scoop just the right knee in towards the chest so you can hold on to the thigh. Maybe give it a few little pulses here. And then cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Just give that right thigh a few pulses out into our figure four position. And then press and hold for a breath or two. And then uncross, place that foot on the mat. Let's bring the left thigh in towards the chest. Again, gentle pulses here as we release the low back. And then cross the ankle over the right thigh. We pulse a few times in a figure four. And then we press and hold. And then release. We'll set the feet back down. Arms at the sides. Let's move into a few waving bridge poses here. So just slowly curling the tailbone under, lifting the hips maybe part way, and then releasing back to a neutral spine. And with the next breath, perhaps we lift the hips just a bit higher, still rolling out to that neutral. Doing this a few more times, eventually landing in a high bridge, but not in any rush to get there. And then once you are in your highest bridge, hold for a moment, maybe roll towards the tops of your shoulders. Let the back of the neck be long as you press the sternum towards the chin. So as we engage the glutes and lift through the hip creases, let's also soften through the back of the neck. And then when you're ready, slowly roll back down and pause for a breath here. And then let's take our block and place it, first you could just place it on the flattest orientation and let your head rest against it. And notice if you feel a gentle little pull or tugging on the back of your neck, a little traction. If so, by all means, just leave it there. That's perfect for you. But if you need more, you can bring the block so that you've got one edge of the block pressing into the mat, and then the other edge of the block pressing into the base of your skull. And that intensifies the traction that's on the back of the neck. So you choose which you want to be, and then you let the arms rest at your sides, unless you're concerned that that block might slip out, and then you could use one hand to steady it in place so that you feel more free to relax the back of the neck. Just take a few breaths here. And then when you feel that you've begun to soften just a bit in that neck, you can begin to rotate your head side to side. Just very small rotations first, and then exaggerating it. Sometimes I have to reposition the block on the edge. And for some of you, you might like to transition back to a flat block to do this. But this slow, gentle rocking side to side will help you to isolate any little knots or kinks in the neck. You may prefer to try and just iron them out, rolling side to side, or you may like to pause and take a breath wherever you feel the tightness or the catch. And then come back through neutral. And once again, just pause. Let the block help you to lengthen the back of the neck. And then use one hand to lift your head, and the other hand can slide the block away. Gently set your head back down on the mat. Let the arms come out like a T and let your feet come out wider than the hips. So we'll take some windshield wipers with some dish rag arms so that we really help to loosen up all through the spine from the base of the skull down to the tailbone. So let's start with just the legs. We'll let the knees slowly drift over towards the left and then passing through neutral and drifting to the right. So it's just a slow, fluid motion here. And then once you get settled into there, we'll start rotating through the arms. So as your knees are drifting to the left, you'll let the right arm roll up like a rolling pin a bit as the left arm rolls down a bit. And those arms reverse just like the knees. And then to add the neck component, now when the knees are to the left, that right arm is rolling up, your head turns towards the right. When the knees are to the right, it's the left arm rolling up, the head bobs over to the left. So let your body stay as relaxed as possible as you create these movements, and you'll hopefully unkink throughout the spine. And then the next time that your knees, well, it doesn't really matter which way your knees roll to, you can just roll the whole body that direction. And then press up so that you are in a seated position. We'll let the legs be crossed, whichever way is most comfortable. You scoot onto your pelvic floor so you've got the flesh of the bum out behind you. And then let's place the left hand, the left fingers out to the side. We'll take a few side bends with that right arm. So inhaling, let's reach up. And then exhaling, side bend over to the left. Inhale, release out of that side bend about halfway. And then exhale, maybe you bend just a little deeper. Inhale, release a bit. Exhale, bend deeper. This time, hold for a few breaths. And imagine drawing your right shoulder blade back a little closer towards the spine. And that's going to help your right arm move behind you just a bit, opening up the chest a little more here. And then return upright. Now let the right hand rest at the side. Inhale, reach the left arm up. Exhale, take your side bend. So you know the routine at this point. We'll take 3 breaths in order to find the just right depth of our side bend. And then once you have reached that 3rd breath, and you can settle in and hold, inviting that left shoulder blade back towards the spine a little more to help open up. And releasing upright once again. And let's change the cross of the legs. Make sure we're settled just above those sit bones again. So we have a nice neutral spine. And we'll take a few little twisting motions here. So let's inhale, bring both arms up overhead. Exhale, begin to twist to the right. Let the fingertips find the floor. Lightly plugging the fingertips in. With an inhale, then we grow taller through the spine. And perhaps on the exhale, we move deeper, but we're using the core muscles to take this twist a little deeper. We're not trying to make the hands help us. Inhale, we still lengthen. Exhale, we use the core to twist deeper, or we stay as is. And breathe here. And with the next exhale, we unwind. Maybe place the hands on the knees. Take a few little arch and curls here before we go to the other side. So on the inhale, we can pull that chest forward, let the gaze lift. Exhaling, strong engagement of navel to spine, so you even lean back onto your back pockets. Taking a couple more turns here. And then when you return to neutral, we'll sit upright. Inhaling, reach both arms up overhead. Exhale, twist to the left, letting the fingertips gently float to the ground. Inhale, grow taller through the spine. Exhale, use your core muscles to twist deeper. You won't go very far. Inhale, grow tall again. Exhale, maybe the core can help you twist even deeper. Maybe you stay here and breathe. And with the next exhale, we'll unwind. Pause. And then hinging from the hips, let's walk the fingers forward. You can walk them out, and then once you feel the stretch, walk them back in just a few inches. Soften that stretch, and then walk them back out again. Maybe walking them in, and then one final time, walk them out. Hold here. And walk them back in. Uncrossing the legs so that we can come onto a tabletop, hands and knees. We'll tuck the toes under so that we can lift into our down dog. And we'll pedal the feet back and forth a few times. And then eventually walk the feet in so that we can land in a ragdoll. Let the upper body hang from the hips. Let that head be heavy. Feel the neck becoming even longer. And now in slow motion, shake your head yes. So chin to chest and then back to neutral. And then just let the head hang heavy again. Now let's straighten just the right leg. Leave the left leg bent. Bring that right hand to the hip or sacrum as we turn the torso towards the right. And make sure that you're grounded equally on your right foot, the big toe side and the pinky toe side.
We let both knees bend as we slide back into this ragdoll. And then we'll straighten the left leg only. Slide that left hand up to the hip, rotating a bit towards the left. Grounding ourselves equally on that left foot, big toe side, pinky toe side. Then we allow the knee to bend as we slide back into the ragdoll. With the next inhale, we'll sweep the arms out and up, trying to touch the sky. Exhaling, dive halfway down. Inhale, lengthen the spine from here, straighten the legs a bit more, and then exhale, slide the hands down the shins, finding our first good hamstring stretch. And then we'll put a bend in the knees, slowly roll upright. Once you come to standing, pause here, connect with your breath. And we'll take our lunging sequence. Actually, our balance is going to be with the lunge. It'll be our balancing stick here. So let's start with that. So let's plant ourselves on that left foot, engage the core. Let's pick the right knee up just on its own, bringing it forward any amount. And then bring it behind you. Let your torso dip down to counter that. Again, any amount. And you can stay here and have it be just the leg, knee coming up and then leg extending back, or you could add the arms to it as well if you'd like. Just when the knee comes up, you could bring the arms up overhead. And then when the leg extends back, you let the arms reach back as well. You come into a bit of a T position here. So a few more times. And then the next time that you're extending that leg back, go ahead and stretch it all the way back to land in a high lunge. Engage the core. Make sure the feet are on railroad tracks, not on a single tight rope here. And we'll take some little swimming motions with the shoulders, like you're swimming a backstroke. Okay, and you could stay with just the shoulders doing that motion, or you could let the elbows lead the way, or you can let the arms extend like you are actually swimming. So the tight shoulders contribute to an achy neck. So if we can loosen up through the shoulders, that's going to help as well. Now from here, okay, we'll let the swimming motion stop. And then we'll take that right arm across the chest. Left hand can hold the right arm in place. Let your shoulder relax here. And then turn your gaze to look to the right. And then release the arms. Hinge forward just a bit so that you can then step a giant step back up to the top of the mat. Pause here. And then let's ground down on that right foot, engage the core, and begin to lift the left knee, and then extend the leg behind. So starting with small movements and then exaggerating to suit your needs, maybe adding the arms, if that feels right for you. And then the next time that you extend that leg back, let's find ourselves landing in a high lunge, grounding through the feet and keeping that core engaged. And then we begin to swim the backstroke again, whether it's with the shoulders only, with the elbows, or with the entire arms. And then we transition into taking that left arm across the chest. Right hand can hold it in place. Keep that left shoulder soft. And then turn the gaze to look over to the left. And then release. Take that giant step back up to the top of the mat. Pause. Connect with your breath. And then let's move into some warrior poses. So stepping that right foot back and letting the hips open out. So settling in, rooting down through the feet. Hug the thigh muscles into the bones and zip up all the way through the core. And then let the arms reach out like a T. 3 breaths right here. And then let's sink this warrior just a bit deeper, letting that right heel move back, the pelvis sink down just another inch or two. And let's crisscross right arm over left, either hugging ourselves or wrapping the palms, letting the elbows just sink down and holding here as we breathe. And then with the next few breaths, just let your chin drop towards your chest. Nothing else changes. But breathe deeply and feel how the breath not only moves towards the back of the heart, the center of the upper back, but it'll also move up into your neck. And then we bring the head back to neutral. We'll release the arms out. And we'll begin to shift the pelvis, straightening that front leg so we can reach out and into a triangle pose next. So finding your basic triangle. Remember to keep as much energy lifting up through the top arm as you have pressing down with that bottom arm. Extending the spine as long as possible from the crown to the tailbone. And with the next inhale, reach so much that you come all the way upright. Let's reorganize the feet so that the toes are all facing to the wide edge of the mat. We'll leave the arms extending out and put a little bend in the hips, and then dive down so that our spine is parallel to the floor. And then think of elongating from the crown to the tail, and then hinging from the hips, letting the torso sink deeper, letting the arms reach behind. Maybe the palms just face each other, or maybe you interlace the fingers. If you can interlace your fingers, then pull the arms up towards the sky so that you soften the shoulders as you let the head sink towards the earth. Release the arms. Let them walk their way up the legs until hands are on the thighs, and you bend the knees a little more deeply to come upright. And then we'll set up for warrior on the other side. So bring the left toes in a bit, the right toes out, the right knee bending. Settling in into your warrior here, letting the arms float out. You're making sure you are zipped up from the thighs, through the core, out the arms. And then taking this warrior just a bit deeper by sliding that left heel back, letting the pelvis sink another inch or two. And then crisscrossing left arm over right, either giving yourself a hug here or letting the palms wrap. Either way, the elbows just sink towards the earth. You breathe here. And then if you like, you can let your chin drop towards the chest, adding that extra little neck stretch. And we'll bring the head back to neutral. Uncross the arms. Start to straighten that right leg as we tilt the pelvis and head towards a triangle pose. Slowly taking the time to get there. And then energizing through this triangle. Lots of space from fingertip to fingertip. Lots of space from the crown to the tailbone. Reaching with that left arm to pull ourselves back up. Once again, we'll reorganize the feet so that we're ready for a wide leg squat. So let the toes all point to the corners. The heels are in, the knees bend. You can place the hands on the knees and rock side to side, or maybe you'd like to place elbows to thighs. Your way, just shift your weight. Maybe make a few little circle eights while you're here. And then finally, just hold still. Maybe if you like a little deeper, you can let the hands slide on down to the floor. Begin to walk the hands back up the legs, letting the legs straighten, and then heel toe the feet until once again they're close together and you're upright. And then let's meet at the top of the mat. And let's step that right foot back once again into a lunge. And we'll go all the way down into a kneeling lunge. So grab a little blanket if you need some cushion here. Shift forward so you're not right on that kneecap, but you're on the tissue just in front of on the top of the kneecap. And then if comfortable, let the top of the right foot rest into the floor. Let the left hand be on that left knee, the front knee, right arm reaching up, and then let that elbow bend so that you can rest your head in your right hand. And then press the top of the foot into the mat, the hip crease forward, and the elbow up. And breathe here. And then release that arm position, and we'll just take this into a twist. So let your right elbow come to your left knee, left hand back to the sacrum, and you can land in a twist. Now, if you like it deeper, you could also let your palms stack on each other. And then unwind. I just forgot what I was going to do next. Well, let's tuck the toes under, the back toes. We'll lift that back knee and just step back up to the top of the mat. We'll take a breath here. And then we'll step the left leg back, finding our lunge, and then working our way all the way down into a kneeling lunge. Shifting forward so we're not just on that kneecap, and then let the top of that back foot rest on the mat. And the right hand rests on the right knee. We'll reach that left arm up, pressing the top of the foot in more, pressing that left hip crease forward, reaching through the elbow as we let the head rest in the hand. So we breathe here. And it's thought that by pressing the top of the foot into the mat, that you take some pressure off of the kneecap. So that's why I'm trying that variation with you tonight. And we'll release that left arm so we can turn this into a twist, maybe just placing the forearm onto that right knee and then right hand to the sacrum for the twist, or bringing the elbow out and stacking the palms. And then unwinding. I know, let's bring the hands just down to the mat and we'll slide that right foot back. So we're in that kneeling position and we'll tuck the toes under here and then either come up to just kneeling or if possible, sit on your heels. That way we get the backs of the toes a nice stretch as well. And while we're holding here, let's loosen up through the forearms. So just bringing the arms out in front, and then feel, let your left palm be up, and then you can take hold of that hand and just bring the fingers down. And same thing with the right arm. And then release. That's probably enough on the toes as well. We'll walk the knees over to one side and then have a seat. And in fact, we'll lay back on the mat and have your blocks handy, both of your blocks within reach. And then lay back onto the back. Now we'll take a deeper figure 4, right ankle crossing over that left thigh. Now let's reach and wrap the hands around that left thigh, bringing the legs in towards the chest. As we hold here, let's take a few little arch and curl motions very, very subtly. As you're rolling on your sacrum there, you'll find how the stretch moves throughout the right thigh and hip area. And then finally, you just hold where it feels best to hold here and consider unhinging that left knee so that the left leg is straight. And then we'll let that leg bend, uncross the legs, just take a breath here. And then cross left ankle over right thigh, scoop that right leg in, adding that little arch and curl motion. Just noticing where the stretch moves to. And then holding still. And possibly straightening out that right leg. And then uncrossing the legs, setting the feet down, pausing here. And then this is where we'll use our blocks. So let's lift the hips like we're going into a bridge pose, and then slide the blocks underneath. It can either be at the flattest or the middle orientation. Either way, just want your hips nicely supported with the block. And then we'll scoop the right knee in towards the chest, wrapping the hands around the thigh. From here, slide the left leg out straight, flexing the foot, pressing the heel down. Should feel a nice deep hip flexor opening on that left side. And then if you want even more, you can unhinge that right knee so the right leg is straight as well. That foot flexed also. Hands can stay on the thigh or they can walk
down towards the calf to hold on. Or you can grab a strap if you have one handy as well. And we'll let that knee bend, set the foot on the floor, and let the left leg bend as well. So we're in a supported bridge, basically. Pause here. And then when ready, let's scoop that left thigh in towards the chest. Slide the right leg out, flexing, pressing the heel towards the floor. And then if you want more intensity still, let the left leg straighten up towards the sky, that foot flexing, possibly walking the hands a little more towards the calf. And then breathe in here to all this new openness. And then we'll walk the hands back in, plant both feet on the floor. So once again, we're in that supported bridge. And then from here, slide both of the legs out, still flexing the feet, pressing the heels in. We're also pressing navel lightly towards spine. So our whole pelvis is nice and neutral on these blocks. And then reach the arms up overhead. And then reach through the fingers, through the heels, maybe reaching more with the right arm and leg, and then the left arm and leg. So you're in a bit of a wiggly back bend here. And then continue to press both heels into the floor, if possible, reaching the backs of both hands and pressing them into the floor as well. Probably only works if you're on the lowest orientation of the blocks. And then release the arms to the sides, walk the feet in, lift through the hips so that you can take the blocks away. And then slowly roll down, one vertebrae at a time. Once your legs or your feet have touched down, then you can bring the knees in towards the chest. Give them a hug, maybe rock side to side. And eventually let the knees splay apart then so that you can take hold of your feet and press the heels towards the groin. And we'll release the feet, let the knees come together in at the chest so that we can finish up with a twist. letting the knees drop over to one side as you reach and turn your head the opposite way, and then settle into this twist. Come back onto the back, pausing for a breath here. And then letting the knees drift over to the other side, settling into your twist. And then returning onto your back. And we'll settle in for relaxation. So if you have a cranky neck tonight, and if you have a towel or a blanket, I would suggest making a gentle roll here. So it'll be like a neck roll. Like I have a big blanket, so I'm only going to roll just part of it up. And then place that roll underneath your neck so that your head is supported, your neck is supported in its natural curve. Now that we've stretched it out, just let it be supported in that natural curve. And then let the arms relax out to the sides. The legs can be bent or straight, however you would normally settle in. But just giving your neck that extra little bit of support and pampering. And then let the eyes close down. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release the weight of your head. Release any furrowed brow. Allow your lips to part, relaxing your tongue and your jaw. Let go of the neck, shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers. Then return to the shoulders, let them soften again. And then release through the chest and upper back, into your belly and low back, into your hips, into pelvic floor. Release down your legs, into your feet, and into your toes. Your front body melting into your back body melting into your mat as you give yourself permission to completely relax. Feel free to stay here as long as you like, or if you're ready to end the class with me, let's take another deep breath in and then begin to create a little movement on the exhale. Fingers, toes. And when ready, softly bend the knees, rolling to one side. Then gently pressing up into any comfortable seated position. Sitting up tall, we bring the hands to the heart, sealing our practice with a quiet prayer or a moment of stillness. And letting the hands release to the lap as the eyes slowly open, returning to our day. I thank you all very much for joining me. And until next time, I wish you peace.